Hey people, you know that there was 11 commandments. They try to keep this 11th one quiet, not you shall build of hewn stone, or else for you put your tool on it, you have profaned it, and it's going to be holy what hell, and all a holy what hell on it, you have profaned it. And they didn't want to interpret that. They thought that was too profane to put in King James. You couldn't say what hell. But I had looked into it several years back, and there were several churches that said, they read 11 commandments. And I don't see it on Google anymore. I knew they was going to be stripping the internet, so I started studying this heavy a couple years back. But there's actually a couple more commandments here. You catch them in this law, not. And the next word will begin with a T, and it's let been. Not you shall build, let it been, leave it be. And law, and let all, and not expose, and let to gall. Actually goes the next word, let to galore. But that's how you'll catch all these commandments up here. Not you shall make anything to be with me, is to let ocean. And not you shall make, to let a shoe. And you see in this not do fear, it's all, still starts with the T here, but they got this backwards. The same word says to, yes, to do it, is also no, is no. So they can make this say anything they want, but this is the altar of, not do fear, the altar of. And you see it here in all the other 10 commandments, the ones that they claim, is not you shall covet, to let come, to let come, and not you shall bear, is to let one, and not steal is to let nab, and adultery is to let nap, and murder is to let rex, and no you shall do, is to let whose, and not you shall take is to let so, and not you shall bow down is to let statue, nor serve them, and let abid them, and not you shall make for yourself, to let whose like. So this Exodus 20, when he first gets the commandments, and the last one was at 17, and then Moses comforts the people, and then idolatry forbidden again, which it was up in the first, second commandments up there, and then the altar of sacrifice. And they hide what's going on in these two words here, the altar and the sacrifice. The altar, we seen the altar up there, the not do fear, the altar of. But this is going to tell us why we should fear the altar of. The altar is Ms. Bitch. That means the woman on the back of the motorcycle. Him's bitch is what it means. Him's bitch. And this sacrifice, and you shall sacrifice was bitched. So Ms. Bitch, that's the woman on the back of the motorcycle that had him. And was bitched. That's a dude, his motorcycle broke down, and he was forced to ride with his partner, and he's riding bitch back there. He was bitched. And Ms. Bitch had him to silly, was bitched. Hey, don't be acting silly, or you get bitched, was bitched alive, O-L-I-V, was bitched alive, at all tick what slimy cats on. The slimy cats sonk, A-N-K, slimy cats onk. And what before cab? What comes before the cab is the ox, is in front of the cart. Before is where that comes from. It actually reads backwards, and it's what to crack and what crack before, what's crack you're looking at when you're riding in the cart. And so what's before you, the oxen or the horse, whatever's pulling, what comes before the cart. And what before the cab, the column fume, to fume, to rise up. And column fume as raise, R-A-Z, the carrot, as raised carrot. You hold a carrot out on the end of the stick, put it in front of the ox, and what before the cab, call 'em fume, and speed 'em up as raise the carrot. And same job, SMJAB, the same job. And then the double A's comes as E. And the same job, E or I, that we like. The same job we like of roctic, erotic, of roctic. And M. And M is bitch, of in him. And M is bitch of in him, of in him. Too silly, let been. At in gaze it, to catch her back. To catch her back and put the holy what hell. And M is bitch of venom too silly. Let's been at and gaze it. Catch her, to catch her back and put the holy what hell. And spank that ass. And let all have 'em holt. All 'em's bitch. Yes, sir. Let galore what collusion. And so when you're spanking that ass, and will it all have 'em holt, all 'em's bitch. And if everybody's bitch watches her ass gets whooped, and all's 'em bitch, yes, sir, to catch the right attitude, yes, sir, the things I command you, you shall do, yes, sir, is what that means. And all them's bitch, yes, sir. Let galore what collude all, and galore, is the word the glory comes from. The galore what collusion all together. And so this word I say is, Miss Bitch, the yes, sir. The yasser. I know that's what it means because this is Asher. This is the most talked about character in the Bible. You can see it 4,800 times here. You can see it here when Asher was born. It said Leah in Asheri. I am happy, Asheri. For will call me blessed, Asher, blessed, happy. So she called his name Asher. Asher means I am happy, I am blessed, or yes, sir, what makes me happy. And when you read it with the directional markings, it adds a little more to the words. It gives them more meaning. You understand the meaning better. And it changes the story a little bit. And what brought me here, I was reading Exodus 15 in that Song of Deliverance last movie. And I read on the top and down the bottom here. And it was talking about of Yahweh your God, what is right in his sight. Do and give ear to his commandments, to keep all his statutes. But they didn't get the commandments until 4 chapters later. That's what had me look into that. But I found some stuff in here. And I believe I found the origin of Jesus. So we'll be able to recognize it when we see it in the Egyptian hieroglyphs. But it's in the first line and the last line. There's deliverance song. And that's usually a big clue. The first and last line. See what they're trying to show off to. But in the first line, it's here. And this is actually the Aggie reading back, and it's the Aggies, A-G-E-S, or the ages. And this is a G-E-S, A-E becomes the E-S, the G-E-S-S-U-S, the Jesus. You see it comes up here, the first line of this song, and then the last line of the song, the same, with the same, the Aggies, Jesus, the God of the agriculture. But it'll also come up down here, spelt the same as King James, the J-E-S-U-S, said to me, keep the horses. But I'm going to look into that the next movie. This will get too long here.
Don't forget, hooty hoot, I won't forget.
Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.